It's Belena with a Spark to the Self on this Witchy Wednesday, and today we're going to talk about the Lord of the Forest. Now, this is a topic very, very, very dear to my heart, as you can tell. You know who we're talking about here. The man with the moss green hair covered in leaves and acorns and pine cones. The man that walks around like half naked with a wooden club. The giant man that kind of resembles what's in like Lord of the Rings. The hairy-bodied man, the man of the wild is what he's always known as. Has the horns like of a stag on his head, right? And if there's golden horns, that means that one is the leader of the area, okay? And this thing is seen with ravens, dogs, the stag, bulls, rams. So who are we talking about? Anybody could be Lord of the Forest. But let me give you some names, because he's known all across different cultures. For the Celts, you've got Cerunnos. The Greeks, you have Pan. Hindu, you have Pashupati. The Scots, you have Herne. In Ukraine, you have the Lisovyk, Kuhester, and Lisovyk. The Croatians, you have Lisak, Lisnik, Lisaluk. In Bulgaria, you have the Latvia. Latvia, you have the Mezainis. It's so hard to say quickly. Mezainis, okay. Lithuania, you have the Miskovelnias. In the Polish, you have the Lesnisi, Lisovyk, Borovi. And Russia, they are known as the Leshy. So the Lord of the Forest, the man who's known to be wild, okay? And like I said, he's known by everyone and every single culture all across the globe. Something to note is that the first known record of this specific being was found in northern Italy in a town called Alcamonico, and then later depictions were found in 400 BC in the Gaulish area, which the Gaulish area is where a lot of the Celts came from, because they came from, actually pretty much all of Europe. They had different migrations. And then, of course, as depicted in all history, anytime anyone worshipped anything other than Christianity when Christianity was coming about, they vilified and made satanic anything that wasn't Christian. So because the Lord of the Forest is the divine masculine, he's the embodiment of the divine masculine. And the Wiccan, as well as the pagan harvest cycle of the year, he is the one that's sacrificed during the harvest season and then reborn during the winter solstice. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But anything that was given horns, they labeled as satanic because he was the divine masculine. Because you have the divine feminine, who would be the mother of all, has the dark and light aspects. But then you have the divine masculine. He's supposed to be the embodiment of nature, our animalistic urges, everything. They say the stare from Pan will literally make you go insane, because it's just inner chaos that's represented inside of all of us. I wanted to say that I would think he was part of the she, because say in Celticism, majority of the gods and goddesses were actually she. Because they are fallen angels and entities of that nature that fell from heaven when Lucifer was cast out. Please check the Fate Origins for that story. They have powers that go beyond the mortal and human powers, so therefore they were revered as gods. I don't think that he would be considered the she. I actually think he's a lot older than that, based off of just history of him. I would say he's a lot older than that, like he was here before then. But something also that you need to know is during December 13th to the 25th, it's his time. He is seen as the Gifted Stag. So you know on all your Christmas decorations and say your matching pajama sets that have like say the red and black plaid and then the stag. Well, one, that's my family crest, but two, the stag is to represent him because the winter solstice was his time frame. Okay? And he's also known as being able to go between the veil, because the veil is very thin from Samhain to the winter solstice. And because he dies, and is reborn, he has the gateway to go back and forth. So another reason why I guess Christians would consider him evil is because he can go there and come back. But many she can do that as well. Say like Lou, say the Morgan, they can all do that as well. So it's Hecate, they can all do that as well. So, but something that is I find really interesting about the Lord of the Forest is the relationship with it. I've grown up around the forest pretty much my entire life. I've developed quite a relationship with it, and any time that I've been away from it, I've been at periods where I've like lost myself. I lost myself when I went to the city. When I was in the pursuit of the mountains, because those are what I was drawn to. But the forest is my home. The forest is where I belong. Sorry about that. I'm dying. So how your relationship with him goes is dependent upon how you treat the forest and how you treat the animals. So something that I've always done is I've given my offerings. So say I give the offerings to the sentient home. It sits, in the altar for 24 hours to let whatever beings and entities are inside the house that protect the home absorb the energy from that, and then it's given to the forest. And it equates to a third or a plate of every meal that you make. So you give your sacrifice and you in turn get rewards. So if you do have that kind of relationship with the Lord of the Forest, this is I found this mostly with the Slavic traditions in the Celtic traditions as far as what they do to honor the Lord of the Forest. But some of the gifts that he can bestow upon you if you are favored by him is he could be protection. He can come in the form of a raven and watch. One of his favored depictions is the horned owl. And if you didn't know, in spirituality, the horned owl is a symbol of deception and lies, like someone's trying to deceive you. So if he is, if an owl just all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, it means that someone that you're around is trying to deceive you, and he is providing you with that warning. But yes, so crows, he is a shapeshifter, so he can be a tree, he can be a blade of grass, he can be any kind of animal. So, like in the mythological stories where you have the old hag that comes to, like, say, a bakery or, say, a castle and asks for hospitality, because then hospitality was a big thing and you couldn't refuse somebody shelter if they asked for it. Hospitality was a big thing. So if they asked for some bread or water or something and you denied them, that's how you got cursed. Well, with the Lord of the Forest, if you mistreat an animal, it could be him, and you could, or if you cut, like, say, branches off trees, if you hurt the ground in any kind of way or hurt the woods in any kind of way, you will pay the price, because he is ultimately the guardian of the woods. He protects animals and he protects the plant life there. So trees, everything. Like, he will protect humans, but ultimately his goal is to protect the woods. So if you are there to have some kind of mischievous intent, know that you will definitely pay for it. And know, because I do know, like with Wicca and paganism, you think it's okay to just go and say pick up acorns or pine cones or things from the woods. You think it's gifts. Well, you can be gifted things from the Lord of the Forest. However, the etiquette is that you have to leave something behind. Yes, it's a gift, but they ask for equal exchange. So if you are given something, leave food. I always carry some kind of food on me. especially if I know I'm going to the woods. I have a story about that, and I've kind of went into it before in a previous video, but I went to the forest before that I've gone to several times, so I know the trails, you know, and I had the warning beforehand that something wasn't secure as it seemed. So I made sure to pack extra, because the only differences from this time to the previous times is that instead of being summer when I hiked, I went during like closer to Samhain, so you know, when the veil's thin. And then also I brought someone with me versus before I was alone. Well, when I went into the woods, it seemed like everything was turned around. That I went the same way, the same path. I left a huge offering. You know, I brought bread, I brought fruit, I brought, you know, like whiskey and honey. I brought several things because I knew I could potentially have an issue because of the warning. Well, let's say I kept trying to smoke this one cigarette the entire time I walked, and it kept blowing out. Every time I'd light it, I'd take a puff, it would blow out. So then I'd walk a little bit, I'd try it again, same thing. Well, it seemed like I wasn't going the right way. Nothing looked right, because I remember in my head, you know, it goes field, forest, I come to a crossroads, I take the left, you know, I go this way, I'm surrounded by woods, I go downhill, I go through some creek, I go up, and then somehow I'm down looking at some cliffs, and then it leads me to the wood area again, and then I'm out back to the field the way it came. So it's just one big loop. Well, it seemed like the trail wasn't anything like we thought it would be. And so the person and I put our clothes inside out, because in all the traditions, all the spiritualities that talk about the Lord of the Forest, they talk about a way to get him to stop messing with you is to put your clothes inside out and your shoes on the wrong feet, and to walk around and to appease it with an offering. So upon almost leaving the trail, I tried to smoke the cigarette again, and it fell out of my hands. Now this is the second time it did, and so with when this happens, you're supposed to say, please accept this offering, you are welcome to it. You have to show that like it doesn't mean anything to you, and they will take no offense. But say if you go, it's mine or whatever, they'll take offense, and then you'll have your luck withdrawn. But in this instance, it was like, okay, well, it's quite obvious you want this. So it seems like when I brought a person, and when I went a different time of the year, the price to go into the woods unscathed was a lot higher. Like I had to bring a lot more offerings, and I had to give a lot of, you know, it pretty much took like 75% of my cigarettes. So it was, the price was pretty high. But they say if you do honor it and it's not upset with you, you will have safe passage, and just to make sure that you're not damaging anything. Now, if you upset him, it's said that he will just lead you deeper and deeper and deeper into the forest until you're completely lost. And if at that time you still upset him, he will lead you deeper into the forest where you're consumed by the forest. You're going to get eaten. You're going to get eaten by something. Deeper into the forest just means you're going to get eaten by something. I mean, come on, that's what that means. But also what I found interesting is that he can mimic the sounds of your loved ones. If you upset him, he can just make it sound like they're near you. And if you do not know this, in the Slavic tradition, you do not look behind you when this happens. You are to stay looking forward the entire time, and you just keep going. You find a way to, like I said, you put your clothes inside out, you put your shoes on the wrong feet, and you try to get out of there. So apparently with the she as well as the Lisovyk, it's, or pan or whatever. Apparently, if you put your clothes on the inside out, the glamour doesn't work as well on you to like distort you. But I definitely feel that day something was messing with me. But when you go into the forest, you know, if you feel eyes on you, if you all of a sudden start hearing magpies, which kind of sound ominous, at least to me, mixed with crows. If crows are always around, remember, crows can be a symbol of the Morgan, but it could also be the Lord of the Forest. It just depends on how many there are. If it's like, say, one, it's him. If it's a whole murder of them, that would probably be the Morgan, because wherever she goes, the whole horde comes with them. But with him, it seems like if you touch anything or if you remove anything, you have to ask for permission first. And it's also said that if he favors you, he will grant you certain abilities, like being able to talk to the animals. It's kind of like Dr. Dolittle, where nothing actually is different with your speech. It just seems like all of a sudden they understand you. He can give you deeper insights to magic. He can help with your prosperity and abundance. Like I said, if you share with the forest a plate of food from your meals, you will never go hungry. It's because you scratch his back, he scratch yours. And he will also protect you. He will emit some kind of energy to where someone won't go around the area. And who else is in the woods? Baba Yaga, and he is part of her guardian. So if you mess with him, you mess with her, and she will, without a doubt, eat you. Throughout history, she is not known as a nice lady. She will eat you if you mess with her. So if you mess with him, you mess with her. But I mean, an all-around good alliance to have. And in the previous video, say with Sal, when I gave you a spell to be able to call a familiar. But fun fact, if you have this positive relationship with Lisovyk, he can supply you with a familiar. And it'll be a different kind of bond that you've ever experienced. It's like this animal just understands you. It clicks. It knows what you need. It follows you around everywhere. It becomes like your shadow almost. He will provide that for you, but it's under the pretense that if any animal comes to you, you have to show it hospitality. So that means if you just have a random cat coming by your property and it looks hungry, you are to offer it food and water and go about your business. Same with like dogs or anything like that. You're not allowed to turn them away, because to turn them away could be turning him away. So it's a good thing. But yeah, guys, this is Valena with a Spark to the Self on this Witchy Wednesday. I did have one shout out during the December months, it's the colder months, for Yule to the Western world's version of New Year's, because Celtic New Year is Samhain. I will not have videos for those 2 weeks, as it's going to be like a big hectic time for me in my life, so just know that. So from the week of, I want to say, like so from the 20th to the 1st, I will not have videos. I'll be out of town and everything, and like I said, I don't record these way ahead of time. It's ingenuine to me. I let you guys know things that I've learned and I find interesting. I share the knowledge, share the wealth, and it's just what people need to know at that time. And doing it way in advance is just content. It doesn't mean anything to me if I did it that way. So just so you guys know, but have a wonderful holiday if you're in the U.S. and you celebrate Thanksgiving. So bye, guys.